Okay, in today's practical discussion, I just want to highlight the important aspects of the mycology. And you have the very few chapters for your syllabus, most important topic I'll discuss today. Plus, in the afternoon, in the lecture also, I'll see to that I'll continue with the same topic and finished off in today's practical and theory discussion. You can expect one in the practical is one staining slide from the candida which we have with us. You will have to identify that slide and you have to write the example of the fungi, and sometime we may ask you the diseases caused by that fungi. So total for 3 marks that slide will be there. One is to identify, one is for example, and probably third question would be on the diseases they cause. I'll be touching about different aspects in the medical mycology, that is classification of fungi, how do you diagnose in the laboratory, and what are the important diseases caused by the fungi we'll be studying today. You all know that mycology is the study of fungi. So the term mycology has been taken from the logi is science and myco is the fungi. So mycos is nothing but mushroom, it looks like mushroom, and all the fungi are the eukaryotic, and we know bacteria are the prokaryotic, right? And what is the difference between eukaryotic prokaryotic? I'll explain you that also today. But right now you remember prokaryotic has a defined cell wall. We all know that the bacilla has, or cocci, whatever, they have very good cell wall. Okay. Likewise, in the fungi, you don't have the well defined cell wall. It's a very thin cell wall which is made up of chitin. You will find all the fungi into the soil, water, and on the organic debris. You can do an experiment at your home. Probably you might have heard now in the COVID positive patient, mucormycosis is the one of the, what you can say, important positive agent from the fungi. Okay, so this has given us opportunity to learn the mycology also, and the role of oral health professional in treating the mucormycosis has also been increased nowadays, because they will be working with the oral surgeon, general surgeon, and they'll be treating the mucormycosis cases. Mycology is important not only now in case of mucormycosis, but there are candidiasis which you will be taking or dealing with these patients in your day-to-day professional life. Generally, they are obligate. We know that they are known pathogens. Okay, so some of the fungi are obligate pathogens, and some of them, requirement of oxygen, not the disease-causing ability, but requirement of oxygen. So majority of them are they can have the oxygen, or they can even if they grow without the oxygen also, or in the less amount of oxygen also. They are very attractive to the chemical compounds. That's why they have been referred as the chemotropic organisms. As I was talking about the differences between the bacteria here, that is prokaryotes, and the fungi which are the eukaryotes, they differ from the bacteria in following points. Okay, first is they possesses the rigid cell wall, and that cell wall consists of the chitin. If you remember, the cell wall of the bacteria has the lipopolysaccharides, then you have polysaccharides, then you have teichoic acid, then you have peptidoglycan. Okay, all those constituents you will not find out in the fungi. Here you have the chitin, mannan, and then some polysaccharides also, which makes their cell wall rigid. The cytoplasmic membrane also has the sterols. So majority of the fungi has the sterols in their cytoplasmic membrane. In bacteria we do not find true nuclei. Here you have the true nuclei with the defined nuclear membrane. Of course they have the mitochondria and endoplasmic reticulum. They are either unicellular, means only single cell, or they also have the multicellular, means they actually occur as a oval shape, or they may occur as a hyphal structure. Either it could be septate or unseptate. This is called as septa, and unseptate mucormycosis is the unseptate. Probably you might have seen this is how mucormycosis arises. Okay, so this is the mucormycosis, and this is the conidiophore where the conidia are there, and this goes into the air, and patient if inhales these spores will get the infection of mucormycosis. So either they are unicellular like this, or they are multicellular, means they are having the septate hyphae, or you have the budding yeast also like this. Okay. Bacteria divide by the asexual reproduction, that is binary fission. We call it as a binary fission. You might have come to know now. It is only one cell divide into two daughter cell, and that multiplication is called as binary fission. But here they divide asexually, sexually, or sometimes by both way. So they can divide with the asexually as well as sexually. This was overall about the classification of fungi, and now we have overall introduction of the fungi. Now we will come to know the classification. See, today in the practical as well as in the evening lecture 3 o'clock, all aspects we are talking about overall. I am not only touching the practical point only, but I am also going to touch what are the different SAQs and LAQs also. I don't think that I have noticed any LAQ on this chapter from medical mycology, but of course SAQ, yes, there are lots of SAQ has been asked in the question. So one of the SAQ from the university point of view is the classification of fungi. This has been asked several times. So remember this, either they may ask you the taxonomic classification or the morphological classification, but this is most important. Morphological classification is most important point in your syllabus, and you must do it. Never forget this. Okay. In the taxonomic classification, this comes under the phylum Thallophyta. Probably if you have gone through the botanical classification, you might have seen the family, subfamily, class, subclass, order, suborder, and that. So this is they come under the phylum Thallophyta, and there are 4 classes of fungi. Okay, we will see in the next slide. And in the morphological classification, we have 4 different classification. One is the yeast, which I have told you. Generally, you might have heard about the Saccharomyces cerevisiae. When we were talking about the Louis Pasteur about the fermentation, this Saccharomyces cerevisiae is the unicellular fungi which is responsible for the fermentation. And then you have the yeast-like fungi. What does it mean by yeast-like fungi? They are the unicellular in oversight, but they also have the capacity to be budding yeast. Then they have molds. Molds means they can occur as the yeast also, or sometimes they occur as a hyphal structure also. Okay. And then diform fungi, same. You have the fungi imperfecti which can occur again in the both. There is a difference between these two. I'll show you in the next slides. Okay. Okay, I was talking about the morphological, not morphological, the taxonomical classification. As we now know that the fungi are in the Thallophyta class. Okay. Generally, they are irregular plant masses lacking definite root, stem, and then leaf. This you will see in the plants. So they don't come under they do come under this in the category of plant, but they are not actually plant because they don't have root, they don't have stem, and they don't have leaves. Okay. So fungi and algae is again different. They have the chlorophyll. It means that they are able to produce their own food particle or food nutrients. Fungi, they don't have the chlorophylls. They don't have the chlorophylls. So there are 4 classes. First is the zygomycetes. Now if you look at the important characteristics of the zygomycetes, it's the lower fungi having the non-septate hyphae. They have the hyphae like this, okay, but they do not have the septa in it. Generally they form asexual spores. This is, and example is again mucor, which is non-septate hyphae you have, okay, and sometimes they also have the sexual spores. Those are called as zygospores or the oospores. The second class from this taxonomic classification is the Ascomycetes. Now this is Zygomycetes and now it is the Ascomycetes, which has the septate hyphae. These are the septa, okay. So they have the septate hyphae. They produce sexual spores, which are also called as ascospores. You can see here zygospores, ascospores, okay. This is how you have to remember. And they are present within the sac. So like this. So these are the ascospores, okay. They are present in the sac itself. Then the third classification from the taxonomical classification is the Basidiomycetes, which has got the septate hyphae, which are able to produce the sexual spores, and those are called as again Basidiospores. You can take the name Basidio, okay. This is how they produce these spores, and on the Basidium. The final classification amongst the taxonomical classification is the Deuteriomycetes, and they are also called as fungi imperfecta. Majority of the fungi belongs to this class. Most of them are pathogenic to the humans. They have the sure-shot septate hyphae. They lack known sexual state. Most fungi, medically important fungi, belongs to this class, and they are involved into the pathogenesis of the humans. Now we will see one by one the morphological classification of fungi. The first one we all know now that it is the yeast. You can see here, okay, it is a oval single cell, round, maybe oval, and it is the unicellular. They reproduce by budding, okay. A bud arises from this and then it gets separated, okay, and they become again new yeast cell. They form on the medium creamy mucoid colonies. So they don't form the fluffy cottony growth on the medium. Probably if you have seen, if you just keep a bread in your house somewhere where moisture is there, and you will see a black color growth you will see, okay, that is cottony, okay. But here they form on the media a creamy mucoid colony which looks like the bacteria. Bacteria also form. You have seen them on the blood agar, the colonies, creamy mucoid, whatever, okay. And the example from this morphological classification, that is yeast, is the Cryptococcus neoformans. Very important pathogen in causing the meningitis. Very important pathogen. They cause meningitis in the HIV positive patient or those patients whose immunity is compromised. So remember this is the most important pathogen, that is the Cryptococcus neoformans, okay, and this comes under again the yeast. Second most important morphological classification is the yeast-like fungi. They are like yeast, but they are not like yeast. So they have the pseudohyphae. And now what do you mean by pseudohyphae? There is one test to know whether the pseudohyphae is there or not, and that is called as germ tube. This can also come for the SAQ, okay. Just remember this also, germ tube test, to find out whether the hyphae is true hyphae or pseudo hyphae. Pseudo means look like, it's not exactly the true hyphae, okay. Pseudo means look like. So what happens when yeast unicellular is there and then it extend into a pseudo hyphae, okay, this is called as pseudo hyphae. You can see this is the best example, matkichi usad you might have seen, and it looks like that. I am not able to control the mouse, so I am not able to draw neat diagrams, just bear with me. So this is the yeast, okay. What happens, the cell wall continues in the form of a tubule structure. So this part does not have the constriction, it is the hollow, okay. So this is the true germ tube positive, okay, and it is given by Candida albicans only. Only Candida albicans gives this test positive. Rest of the Candida does not involve in the formation of germ tube, okay. So this is the best test to differentiate between Candida albicans from the rest of the Candida. I am really sorry for this diagram, just bear with me. You can understand there is no constriction, as a constriction nahi hai baga, okay. The cell wall has extended to form a tubule like structure, okay. If you could able to see this, okay, there is no constriction. This is called as pseudo hyphae. It looks like hyphae, but it is not actually hyphae. That's why it is called as pseudo hyphae. So they are partly as yeast, what we have seen in the previous slide, and partly as the elongated budding cells. So this is why it is yeast like fungi, and the example is Candida albicans, okay. So remember, I think I have not written here an example, but now you remember this. Candida albicans is the example of yeast like. Now coming to the third classification of fungi, morphological classification, and that is the molds, okay. What is the difference between yeast like and molds? Molds have hyphae, true hyphae, okay, not pseudo hyphae, true hyphae. They grow as a branching filamentous. If this is your plate, okay, and you will get a fluffy cottony growth you will get on the plate, and they look like a branches. So that's why they are, they are like plant, but they are not plant, because they don't have root, they don't have stem, they don't have leaves, but they grow as a fluffy cottony colony on your medium, okay, throughout the medium. So they grow as a branching filaments, okay, and those filaments are called as hyphae, and they are aerial above the culture media, and they do not go below the culture media. Sometimes the hyphae are septate or may not be septate. So these hyphae are either septate or may not be septate, and they continue growth called as mycelium. He ji growth ahe, this growth is called as mycelium, okay. So this is a cottony growth on your culture media. As I told you, just keep a bread in your home, in the kitchen where moisture is there, and after 2-3 days you will see there is a black color of growth, and that is look like a cottony growth, okay. And a very important fungi which are under molds are dermatophytes. Derm means skin, and they are depending upon the skin. Majority of us are suffering from konda म्हणतो ना आपण केसांमध्ये, this nothing but because of the dermatophytes. Then you have aspergillus, important pathogen. Penicillium. Penicillium has been invented by Alexander Fleming when he went to some conference after keeping a plate open in his lab, and when he came back after 3-4 days, and he found out that there was a fluffy cottony growth, and there was some inhibition of growth also, and from this fungi he has developed the drug penicillin. And that was the miracle for the entire humanity, because that time syphilis was very rampant, and this antibiotic could able to take care of that disease. So this was a miracle, and which was done by the Alexander Fleming. And Rhizophus is also one of the example of the molds. As I told you in the previous slide, that most important group of fungi in the morphological classification is the dimorphic fungi, which is also called as imperfecti, fungi imperfecti, okay. So they exist as yeast in the host tissue. When they are in the body of a human, they act as a yeast. Yeast, you know now, this is how they appear in the host, okay. And when we try to grow them in the culture media, on the culture media they form a mycelial growth. आता हे परत culture media समजा, and this is how they appear as a mycelial growth on the culture media, okay. Examples are blastomyces dermatitis, okay, paracoccidioides, coccidioides, imites, histoplasma, sporothrix. All of them are opportunistic pathogens. All of them are opportunistic pathogen, but they involve the lower respiratory tract infection. Always remember, fungi imperfecti or dimorphic fungi are very important in causing the lower respiratory tract infection, and which is very difficult to treat. And generally what happens in the differential diagnosis, this they don't, the clinician don't send the sample for knowing the etiology of dimorphic fungi. They only are looking for the bacteria if it is there, like mainly the mycobacteria or some streptococcus pneumoniae, which are important in causing the lower. Even now COVID is also important virus which causes the LRTI. But if you go for it, majority of the, some of the time, not majority, some of the time you can expect the lower respiratory tract infection due to these dimorphic fungi, which are also called as fungi imperfecta. The reproduction or sporulation of this fungi is through sexual or asexual, we have come to know now. If we are talking about the sexual spores, then there are oospores, okay, oospores or ascospores, zygospores, basidiospores. It depends upon which type of taxonomical classification the fungi comes. In the vegetative spores, they are called as blastospores, and then orthospores, okay, and then aerial spores like conidiospores, microconidia, macroconidia, sporangiospores. Even the mucor has got the aerial spores, and those spores, if they come out into the air, we all inhale those spores and we suffer from the mucormycosis. We don't suffer because we have a very intact immune mechanism. But now, what was the reason in the COVID-19 positive patient why the mucormycosis was so rampant, and there were almost 8,000 cases? If I am wrong, just correct me, more than that I think probably, and it was an epidemic declared in India, epidemic. Only India and Japan has witnessed the mucormycosis, and that too India has witnessed mucormycosis. One of the hypotheses of mucormycosis is that patient on COVID-19 positive was kept on BiPAP on the tubings, artificial respiration for a couple of weeks, and if you do not change that BiPAP, the pipe might got contaminated with these fungal spores, and from anywhere. They are present in the soil, air and all that. So through that it might have got contaminated, and it might have established in the respiratory tract, and it may not have caused immediately the pathological conditions into the patient. And at the same time, patient on COVID-19 was kept on steroids, which is responsible for down regulating the natural immune response. And this is the breeding environment for the fungi. That is Nandanvan. I always call it this as a Nandanvan, because anyone can cause any disease in such patients where immunity is down regulated because of the steroids or immune disorders, okay. So remember this, and that is responsible for mucormycosis. Now, patient has discharged from the hospital, and then they developed the mucormycosis, and the reason is the spores might have gone to the lungs, and they take some amount of time to grow there in the form of the unicellular cells, and then they have produced the not even lungs also, they have in the maxillofacial tissues and all that, there they generally settled and they cause the mucormycosis near the nose. Okay, this is very important for all of us, as we are microbiologists, we are running a microbiology, so we must know how are we going to diagnose these mycological infections or fungal infections in the laboratory. So laboratory diagnosis is an important aspect in the medical mycology. So I think probably we have learned into the bacteriology also, microscopy is very important. There we perform the gram staining. Here also for creamy colonies like Cryptococcus we can perform the gram staining, okay. The gram staining is also one of the important diagnostic tool in the direct microscopy when you are going for a laboratory diagnosis of fungal infections. Then KOH preparation is one thing which is very important. 10% KOH is prepared, okay. And why do we prepare KOH? Because it degrades the keratinous material. If you have collected the nail, hair or skin scrapings, and if you dip those body appendages into 10% KOH, then it degrade the keratinase and then you will be able to see the fungal hyphae very clearly in those picture. Okay, like this. Okay, and you will be able to see only in the presence of the KOH one. So KOH काय करता, whatever the skin material is there, it get destroyed. Okay, and you will be able to see the fungal hyphae very clearly. So KOH preparation is very important in knowing the even mucormycosis. If you get a tissue, you just dissolve that tissue in 10% KOH for at least 20-30 minutes, and then you see under low power objectives and see these types of hypal structure. India ink preparation is also one of the important tests which is we are performing for the cryptococcal neoforms. If you probably you might have seen negative staining in our lab. Here you imagine this is a microscopic field, and imagine this is the yeast, and around that you will see a hollow structure. Here entire you will see this as a black color. Okay, this entire you will see as a black color, and here you will see a capsule. So the Cryptococcus neoformans gives this capsule very clearly hollow structure around the unicellular. Here असं परत unicellular तुम्हाला दिसतं आणि त्याच्या बाजूला you will see the hollow structure. This is nothing but the capsule. So in India ink preparation we see I think probably I have told you in the practical चांदणं रात्री कसं दिसतात, like that you see this. Okay, microscopy very important, KOH preparation, gram stain in creamy colonies, and India ink preparation for the demonstration of the capsule. Now we all know in bacteriology we have culture. Here also we cultivate the the fungi onto the Sabarod dextrosaur. This could be one of the MCQ also. Which of the following media are used for cultivation of the fungi? So this is what is the answer for your all, I mean SDA. Okay, remember this Sabarod dextrosaur. And then this slide culture. I'll explain you the slide culture here only. What we do actually, we take a slide, and I'm really sorry for my drawings. I don't know ये माझं control होत नहीं. I don't know how to do it. What we do, imagine this is a culture plate now. Imagine this is a culture plate. We cut a piece 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter agar block, and we keep it onto the slide. Okay, okay. This is the agar block. Okay, and what we do with the straight wire, we inoculate growth from all sides. All 4 sides of this agar block, we inoculate the growth, and this slide is kept into a Petri plate, and where you have to keep a tissue paper soaked into the water to remain, to make what you can say moisture, to maintain the moisture. So once you have kept this, incubate at 37 degrees Celsius, okay, for several days, for few days. Okay, and of course cover this block with the cover slip. Okay, now what you do, remove this cover slip after few days if you get a fluffy cottoning growth, and then dip into a lactophenol cotton blue, LCPB mount म्हणतात, LCPB lactophenol cotton blue mount, LPCB mount, अच्छा मी चुकीचं लिहितो, LPCB mount. Okay, lactophenol cotton blue, हे P नाही आहे बरं का. So what you do, what you see, you will see the structures of hyphae, and then you will see the conidia, or you can see the conidiophores and all that. This is the slide culture, and it is generally done for the dermatophytes or even for the molds, or you can do for the dimorphic fungi. I will stop here, and